Hello students, how are you all? Hope you all are fine. So today we are going to begin with our next topic, Unit 3.3, The Road Not Taken, a poem by Robert Frost. Kindly remove your textbook, page number 69. Now, in this poem, The Road Not Taken, this poem is relevant to our life. We practically many a times experience this. Now, in this poem, the poet says that he was faced with the option of two paths in the woods. This is similar to the career options we have in life and choose one out of them. The poet has compared the roads with our career in the life, that is, when we have two options and then we have to choose out of them one, and the choice made at that time, it decides our future. So it really is a very big responsibility, or it is a tough job at that time to opt for one of them. But yes, in a life we have to. This poem is written by Robert Frost, and Robert Frost, he had he was honored frequently during his lifetime, and whatever poem he has written, first of all, he was an American poet, and then he had a realistic view and he had the realistic depictions of the rural life, and he has given us a hidden message in the poem. So let us see what the message is trying to give. Now in this poem he is speaking about the journey of life. It is more than a poem. It is about someone trying to decide. It can be anyone. It can be you, it can be your siblings, it can be your friends. So it is about someone trying to decide which road he is going to take on a stroll through the woods. The two roads diverged in a yellow wood symbolizes a person's life. Yellow wood, it is symbolizing a person's life wherever he has two options, two choices, both of which look attractive. The narrator's choice about which road is to take, he also represents the different various kind of decisions they sometimes have to make and how those decisions might affect our future. And the narrator chooses to take the less traveled road, though at times he expresses his desire to go back to the more traveled roads. The road here, it is a choice, the choice less opted by the others. Now, when a choice is less opted by the others, definitely one gets more success in the life. Whenever anyone knows that the road is very easy, anybody can walk. Even in your career choice also, when you know, when you know about your positive qualities, about what highs and lows are there in you, in that case also, whatever positive qualities you have in your life, that makes you successful. So this shows that when we choose an option which is really not chosen by many others, so we become more successful in the life as it makes us more unique and it makes us very different from others. The the more unique you are, the more confident you are, the more content knowledge you have, the more you are successful. So let us see Robert, the road not taken. Now in these lines, in this first stanza, that is we have five lines we have. Okay, so in lines 1 to 5, the poet is telling us or he's conveying the message that in a forest where the leaves of the trees have turned yellow, the poet finds two roads going in two different directions. The poet felt sorry that he had to choose over one of them, as it was not possible to take both paths. He pondered and he started wondering over the options for a long time. He took down a path as far as possible till it was bent with vegetation. So, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both, and be one traveller. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So, he wondered, but he thought for the two options for a long time, and then he looked for the path which was as far as possible. It was bent with vegetation. Wherever there was greenery was there, but he chose that yes, I will go by this path because this path nobody has gone through, or very less number of the people have gone through. So in this paragraph, in this stanza, he's trying to tell is that it is the contemplation over the choice of the roads. That is the way he is trying to choose the options. In the second stanza, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as far for that passing there had worn them really about the same. Now, in these lines, the poet is trying to specify or trying to say about the uncertainty even after choice is being made. In the first stanza, here he has to look into the choices that where he is supposed to go. But in the second stanza, that is from line 6 to 10, there is a state of uncertainty even after he has made the choice. So here, the someone who has opted for the choice, then he takes the other path, and the poet judged this road to be equally good as the other one, but he is doubtful and feels that it is perhaps preferable, as it seemed like it hadn't been walked upon very much. It was still grassy and didn't look worn down, yet the poet feels that the people passing along it had worn it equally as the other. So here, as the poet thinks that many have not gone from this road, so he ponders and then he also thinks about the uncertainty while making the choice in the second stanza. The two options, and both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Now, in this third stanza, that is the lines from 11 to 15, the poet conveys that the unrealistic desire to be able to take the other road someday. So, in the mind, he had already opted, but there is in his deeper in his mind and his heart, there are certain unrealistic desires that might be one day he will take the another road. So that morning, both paths were covered with leaves, with no heavy human steps crushing them to black. The poet hopes that he could take the first road some other time, though he knows that one road leads to another, farther away, and that is highly doubtful. That is, road is very far away, and it is very doubtful also if he could ever come back. In our life, many times when we move ahead in the life, in your career option also, you cannot come back. It is very difficult to come back. So he is very doubtful that might be I'll be able to come back or not. In the fourth stanza, that is from line 16 to 20, the poet is thinking that if he looks back, or you can call it looking back, if he ponders, then he has to make a significant selection that he thinks that yes, in my life I had made something very, very important, significant, according to him, relevant, significant. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Robert Frost. So, in the lines from 16 to 20, the poet transports himself to the future. He has been transported. He has been thinking, he has been carried away by his thoughts to the future when he will be stating with a reflective sigh that he was once in a forest. Many times we also think in our life when we go back that I had two options and I choose this one. So the day when we had opted for such an option, we really think that yes, I had made that selection and my selection was very, very relevant. It was very, very proper and it has played a significant role in my life. So here also the poet is thinking that if he himself will go in the future, then he will be stating with a reflective sigh. That means what? He will thinking that yes, once he had in a forest he had went and there were two roads diverged. So he selected the road which was less frequented or being less been traveled by the people, and it had made an important difference to his life. Because of one step, it had made an important difference. It had really created a difference in his life. So it is up to you all that what you want to be in your life. In your life, everywhere you will have two options. One you will think it is very easy to opt for, other is very, very difficult. But the person who will opt for the difficult one are the persons who are most successful in the life. Now coming to your literary devices. Now if you look in the first stanza, your rhyme scheme, two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So wood, stood, could. So these are rhyming together, and both and growth are rhyming together. Both and growth, undergrowth, they are being rhyming together. So here the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B. And here the poet has used the visual imagery. Now visual imagery along with, he has given the certain symbols. That is, symbolism is also used in this poem. Symbolism he has used for example, he has used the two roads which are divergent. These are standing for the choices in the one which we have to make in our lives. So he has also used symbolism and also used an imagery, and according to the poet, the central idea or the theme of the poem is that the journey of our life and what the poet has decided when he is at the crossroads. He tells us about the time that he came across two roads that diverged in a wood. He knew that he could not travel both, So he took the road which was not as well traveled as others. So it made or created a lot of difference in his life. So in our life, it makes us think, it makes us ponder about how our actions should be, so that in future in our life we will not regret. So I hope you all have understood the poem very well, and even in your life also you have to think that what choice you have to make so that you might become successful in your life. So hope you all have understood the poem very well, and if you like my educational video, kindly like it and subscribe it. Thank you children. God bless you all.